Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to show you a transitional sequence of organisms. And I'm going to show them to you first with no labels on them, just so you can get a feel for how the transitions are relatively smoothly occurring. Then we'll see the labels, and then I'm going to show you how the characteristics or the traits of birds accumulated in evolution step by step. So first of all, I decided to just start with a lobe-finned fish because I talked about that. We jump up to, now let's see, I need to get this on the whole screen.
View slideshow.
Thanks. Well, is that what does it? Okay, thanks. No. I'm forgetting the command to make it the whole screen here. Oh, that's right, that's right. There we go. I've used it about 1,000 times. Okay, but now why is it going back there? I've got to get to... Okay, there it is. Okay, so here's a lobe-finned fish jumping huge macroevolutionary jump all the way up to a amphibian here. That would take a huge amount of explaining. And just look with your eyes at the sequence and how they're changing step by step in what seems to me a pretty smooth transition into organisms that look more and more like birds. There's finally a modern bird, and there's an eagle. Okay, now let's name these. A lobe-finned fish. You can see the dates there. A primitive amphibian like Ichthyostega. Again, that was macroevolution right there. Then we finally get to a primitive reptile called a cotylosaur, the first reptiles, an early archosaur, Proterosuchus, onto a thecodont called Euparkeria, and then a clearly bipedal organism, an early dinosaur, a theropod dinosaur, another theropod dinosaur, one that is known to have feather-like structures on its body. A tetnuran dinosaur like Allosaurus, which was a huge tetnuran. A maniraptoran dinosaur like Velociraptor. These are believed to be the closest relatives to birds. An avian dinosaur, the most primitive known bird, Archaeopteryx. Another avian dinosaur called Confuciusornis. An advanced avian dinosaur, or nearly modern enantiornithine bird, or what's called an opposite bird. A modern bird, like a pigeon, which is classified by most experts as still a dinosaur. And another modern bird, like an eagle. So birds are considered to be feathered dinosaurs by probably 99% of all professional biologists who are qualified to have an opinion on the matter. Now, this is the part that really talks about the evidence. So what I've done is I've shown here a list of all the traits that birds have. Okay, so all these traits are possessed by modern-day birds. And I'm now going to show you the same exact sequence, and you're going to see how, as each organism comes up, you'll see highlighted in bright yellow the traits that that organism displays that are bird-like. And the key thing to remember, think of the phase space diagram that I showed you. Think of these organisms as chattering their way through evolutionary phase space, being driven by natural selection processes, where each of these organisms was not trying to make birds, because evolution never knows where it's going. It's a free-running random program. But you'll see these traits appearing in bright yellow as we go through it. So here, a lobe-finned fish has, just say, something like a leg. Okay, then a primitive amphibian has a full-fledged leg, as birds obviously do. Okay, then getting closer to the real sequence that we're interested in. Cotylosaurs, the most primitive reptiles, have scales. Birds still have scales on their legs. And amniotic eggs, which birds lay. We go to an early archosaur, or ruling reptile. You see the formation of what's called an antorbital fenestra. That means holes in the skull, holes in your skull. It makes your skull lighter. Birds have those to save weight. Okay, here we see a thecodont, Euparkeria, and although this looks like he's walking on 4 legs, it is believed by many scientists that this was bipedal at least part of the time. So bipedalism is critical in bird evolution because it liberates your front limbs to do something different, like become wings. Okay, then we have another early dinosaur, Ornithosuchus, and here we see offset ball and socket hip joint, and you raise the metatarsals and you walk on your toes. Birds walk literally on their toes. Okay, a theropod dinosaur like Coleophysis. This had hollow bones, as birds do. A pelvis anchors on more vertebrae, as in birds. It has a tremendously shortened thigh bone right here. A reduced fibula, elevate the first toe off the ground. We'll skip over that. We come to a theropod dinosaur with protofeathers, filamentous protofeathers, down feathers perhaps. Jump to a tetaneuran dinosaur called Allosaurus, which has a strong fused sternum, fused clavicle or wishbone, and a 3-fingered hand. A maniraptoran dinosaur like Velociraptor has a semilunate carpal, which allows you to get a slashing hand stroke. A swept back pubic bone, as in birds, a shortened trunk. Go to an avian dinosaur like Archaeopteryx. You get a split propulsion lift wing, fully modern flight feathers, lateral facing shoulder joint, and a reversed halic for a perching toe.
Matt, time's up.
Time's up.
Time's up.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right, thank you, thank you. Here we have pieced together from fragmentary evidence. I've been able to reconstruct the evolution of silverware. You can see these two spoons here. Obviously, one's been subjected to more geologic pressure and has squished it out a little deeper than the other. I believe knives slowly turned into spoons over millions of years, and then gradually erosion cut grooves into the end and turned them into short-tined forks. Then very slowly, of course, takes a long time, the forks got, the grooves got deeper and longer. I knew I had the right order. You can obviously tell that, but I just felt like I had a missing link. One day I was flying to Connecticut on US Air, and the stewardess handed me the missing link. I don't think she knew what she had, but my trained scientific eye caught it right away. Later I went to Popeye's Chicken. I now have 2. So